Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of ETV News. I'm Amanda Eckert.
And I'm Lauren Zenzi.
On February 3rd, there was a Metro North train derailment where 6 people were killed and 15 were injured. The train was a northbound express train on the Harlem line, and it went into an SUV that was stopped on its tracks. Hundreds of passengers escaped from the flames. The entire interior of the first rail car was burned out, said Robert L. Sumwalt, a member of the National Transportation Safety Board. This is considered the deadliest accident in the history of the Metro North Railroad. An investigation is underway to find the cause of this terrible accident.
31 people were found dead yesterday in Taiwan after a TransAsia Airways flight crashed into a bridge just after takeoff. The TransAir ART 72-600 turboprop plane clipped its left wing on the bridge and came crashing down into Taipei's Keelung River. Although there were 15 survivors that were pulled from the accident, 12 people still remain missing. This is not the first time a TransAsia ATR 72 plane has crashed, as just 7 months ago in July, the airway system had an incident that saw 48 people get killed.
The recent measles outbreak in Disneyland has anti-vaccinators on the lookout. In the past few months, over 100 people have become infected in 14 different states, and doctors have linked this deadly disease back to the fun-loving Disneyland theme park. Of the 59 people infected from California, 28 of them were unvaccinated. It seems that this recent outbreak could make anti-vaccinators think twice.
Attention to all internet users. The Federal Communication Commission Chairman Tom Wheeler proposed on Wednesday new federal rules to regulate the internet like a public utility. The FCC chairman's approach is an endorsement of what has come to be known as net neutrality. Two of the largest content providers, Netflix and YouTube, account for roughly half of all internet traffic at peak times. Some in the industry have advocated charging them or other heavy users for special fast lanes. An FCC official said that rules would prohibit broadband service providers from blocking access to legal content, slowly delivering speed-based content, or favoring some content providers by giving them preferential delivery speeds. The chairman's proposal now goes to the other 4 FCC commissioners who are scheduled to vote on it on a public meeting on February 26th.
Have you filed your taxes yet? Filing your taxes will allow for easier FAFSA application for the fall semester. Eastern students have until March 1st to apply for 2015 to 2016 financial aid. Don't miss the deadline.
A recent memo to Twitter staff was leaked to website The Verge, in which Twitter chief executive Dick Costolo admitted that the company sucks when it comes to handling online abuse. Costolo states that we suck at dealing with abuse and trolls on the platform, and we've sucked at it for years. This confession comes out around recent rumors that Twitter may strike a deal with Google to make charter of updates searchable on the platform. And we'll be right back with this week's editorial. I don't know if it's the fact that I'm tired, but I literally
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebird? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun?
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple, just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
And we're back with Megan Saunders with this week's editorial.
Thank you, girls. You men out there are so lucky. You can just roll out of bed in the morning, take a 5-minute shower, throw on pants and a t-shirt, and be on your merry way. The only consideration you ever have to make is the weather. If only life were that easy for girls. If I just rolled out of bed in the morning, threw on whatever my hand touched first and went to class, I'd risk dirty looks, whispers, and judgment. Half the time we get dressed, the weather is an afterthought. Look at me. It's January, it's February now, and I'm wearing a tank top. We have to consider who we're going to see that day, what will determine if we can dress casually or if we have to dress to impress. We have to consider where we're going. If we're going to the mall, who knows who we'll run into. So we have to look great just in case. We have to consider what our roommates are wearing. If we go out together, if one of us is wearing leggings and the other one's wearing jeans, we're probably going to feel uncomfortable and we want to change. We're constantly facing judgment because the world is being consumed rather quickly by an epidemic called slut shaming. It has taken many forms over the past year. The first is just woman-on-woman slut shaming. Women are constantly being placed beneath the microscope of judgment by each other. We have such immense societal pressure to weigh a certain amount, dress a certain way, and even conduct ourselves in accordance to the status quo. Women live in their own society where individuality is reserved for the rich and famous. The rest of us need to proceed as lemmings, dressed in unison to whatever Cosmo, Elle, and Vogue are telling us is appropriate for the season. If we veer away from the norm, then we're at risk of being called a slut. In this definition of slut, the word slut doesn't mean sexually promiscuous, but rather a woman who is different from the rest. Another instance of slut shaming is a judgment of a woman who shows cleavage, wears short skirts, or otherwise revealing clothing. It's an off-the-bat judgment based solely off of her appearance, without any knowledge of her background or even her sexual history. Because she chose to wear a certain type of clothing that might be considered more sexual, she is considered a slut. Judgment of what a woman wears has gone beyond the daily whisperings and gossip on campus or in the workplace, and onto actual government legislation. In 2014 alone, dozens of countries worldwide have censored women's rights to wear skirts, leggings, shorts, dresses, even underwear and pants. In February, women in Uganda were banned from wearing miniskirts in public. Some women were even publicly undressed for wearing miniskirts. In March, a school in Michigan banned leggings from being worn because the teacher believed leggings were too distracting to the boys in an educational environment. In June, the University of Texas at Austin School of Nursing banned unacceptable clothing such as midriff-bearing shirts, short shorts, short skirts, low-rise pants, and low-cut shirts that reveal cleavage. In September, a head teacher in England banned female students from wearing trousers that were too tight around the calf and bottom areas. With almost every single item of clothing a woman wears, even modest clothing choices like pants are being criticized and shamed. Where does that leave us? What can a woman wear so as not to provoke criticism? Why is every one of our clothing choices being censored, analyzed, and critiqued? Why can't a college-aged woman in Texas, nonetheless, wear shorts to class? It's hot in Texas. Shorts are the obvious choice to attempt to keep cool. So why is this institution shaming girls for their bodies? What is so scary about a woman's body that is forcing us to cover it up in public? Instead of shaming girls for their bodies, why not teach men that women are not sexual objects? Our genders are codependent. One cannot exist without the other. So why are our bodies so distracting that there needs to be government intervention? Over the past century, sex has become more and more mainstream. Today, sex culture revolves around hookups instead of courting, which is liberating for both men and women. However, with a liberalized sexual attitude, there are new extremes that are being pushed and therefore criticized. And like I said before, women are the worst offenders. Pictures are floating around cyberspace criticizing women for decisions they make in their personal lives. Sexuality isn't morality. Because a woman chooses to wear certain types of clothing or chooses to behave a certain way, it shouldn't define her moral character. As a society, we need to stop being fixated on every single thing us women do. Let us be individuals. Let us follow our own paths. Our society needs to stop being so sensitive about appearance and sex and just let us live our lives in a way that makes us happy. Because the moment that we stop fixating on women as sexual beings and start seeing women as human beings, the less drama we will have. And so, in the meantime, I'd like to apologize for wearing shoulder-revealing tank tops, shorts that are going to be too short because I'm super tall, and my favorite backless shirts. So I apologize if my appearance is too distracting and sexy for television right now. I'm just trying to be me. That's all for this week's editorial. I'm Megan Saunders. Take it easy, Eastern, and it's good to be back.
Good one, son.
Last summer, my new dad took me on vacation. First, we went deep sea fishing. Wow!
I'm so proud of you, son.
And then we went on Thunder Shark. That was awesome! Let's go again. 3 times. I gotta say, it was pretty cool.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh, not again.
It's harder whenever there's a bigger group. Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked. Thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Join Eastern's cast of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland for a matinee show February 18th through the 22nd. Come enjoy a whimsical theater production at Schaefer Hall's Harry Hope Theater. All ages can experience a quirky adaptation of the story we all know and love. Call the Harry Hope box office to reserve your seats at 860-465-5123. Tickets are limited, so reserve now.
Are you looking to study abroad but afraid of the long-term commitment of a whole semester? Travel to London and Paris for 2 weeks this summer by signing up for the Global Field Course. International Marketing and PR here at Eastern. The trip will cost $4,500 and covers all travel, hotel, sightseeing expenses. You will visit many popular sites such as the England Eye, the Eiffel Tower, and much more. You can register for the class by visiting eWeb and signing up.
This Friday in the Student Center Theater at 3 p.m., students and faculty members can come enjoy food, drinks, and an educational program about Black History Month, brought to you by Males. This event will inform students and faculty about various influential Black individuals in history, as well as their importance and relevance to today. This event is free and open to the public.
This Friday at 9 p.m., CAB will be hosting their Skating's Gonna Skate event in the Betty Tipton Room. This is a massive late-night skating event for all Eastern students. Ice skates of all sizes will be provided, as well as hot chocolate. Hope to see all of you there.
On Friday, January 30th, FAD held a late night which theme was Winter Wonderland, and FAD had help from their fellow activity organization, UROC. Some of the activities included caricatures, airbrushed hats, hockey, and making your own snow globe. There was also cookie decorating and free hot chocolate. Upon entering the Betty Tipton Room, the first students to arrive were given the choice to get a free t-shirt or a blanket. As the night went on, it was clear that more and more students were coming in. It seems like this Winter Wonderland was a great success. And speaking of Winter Wonderland, let's go to Matt and see what we have in store for us.
Thanks, Amanda. I'm Matty Milo, the meteorologist here with your 7-day forecast. Friday's going to be a high of 19 with a low of 12. Saturday, don't worry, it's just a few flurries with a partly cloudy sky with a high of 25 and a low of 20. Come around Sunday, bundle up, because here comes the flurries. It's going to be a high of 23 and a low of 13. I know nobody wants to hear this, but come around Monday next week, the snowstorm's going to hit. It's going to be snowing all day with a high of 20 and a low of 15. And this just in on the weather wire. On Tuesday and Wednesday, the snow's going to be continuing, so you can erase those cloudy skies. It's going to be a high of 32 with a low of 13, and then on Wednesday is going to be a high of 26 and a low of 13 again. Come around Thursday, guys, I'm sorry to say this, here in Chilly Willy, it's going to be a high of 24 with a low of 8, but it's going to keep snowing. And we'll be right back with sports after this quick message.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
Wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs, just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
I'm Nick Akinfor with this week's sports update. First place in the Eastern Connecticut men's basketball team are quite familiar with each other. The Warriors have won the regular season conference title twice in the past 3 seasons. They currently sit in first place at 8-1. Last week, the Warriors hosted in-state rival Western Connecticut. Here are your highlights. Eastern Connecticut getting ready for this one. Here's Tarchie Brown starting things off with the reverse left hand. And here's a steal from Jeremiah Washington for Western Connecticut. He sends it in. Here's your replay. Washington on the break with the one-handed flush. On the other end again, Marquez, a Willimantic kid, knocks down a jump shot. Here's Trayshawn Preston, an acrobatic lay-in off the board. Tarchie Brown, a three-pointer. He had 20-plus points in this one. 21-16, Eastern Connecticut leading. Here's Marquez again off the board. Here's Hugh Lindo, one of his many fancy dunks throughout the season. He cocks it back and throws it down with one hand. Here's your replay. Back goes Lindo with the one-handed jam. 34-31, Eastern leading at halftime. Up ahead, here's Tarchie Brown, and one, count it. He gets that one to go. Then Preston, a three-pointer. That one's good. Colin Jordan, a smooth fadeaway jumper. Look at the replay on this one. As the shot clock was going down, Jordan fading away. Gets it, gives Eastern a bigger lead, 57-53. Here's Brandon Yarborough, the senior, a three-pointer. It's good. Lindo was fouled. It was a 5-point play. Preston with the lay-in. Here's Tarchie Brown with the dagger. Left hand, that'll do it. Eastern Connecticut wins this one, 82-68. The Warriors traveled to Plymouth State this past Saturday, where they were upset by the Panthers. The loss makes the final 5 games of the season a bit more interesting. Eastern hosts UMass Boston at the Geisler Gymnasium Saturday at 3 p.m. Second place wasn't on the mind of the Eastern Connecticut women's basketball team coming into this season, and it still isn't. The Warriors are sitting in second place at 7-2, behind UMass Dartmouth at 8-1. However, the Warriors have already defeated Dartmouth this season. There may be some big stipulations when the Warriors and Corsairs meet again on Valentine's Day. The women were in action last night as they took on Conn College. Here are the highlights. A non-conference matchup between the Camels of Conn College and the Warriors of Eastern Connecticut. There's Taylor McBride before this one. Here's Jill Rydtrowski, a little up and under finger roll off the glass is good. And here's a rebound by Lovett for the Camels. She puts it in. And again, Carly Smith, Willimantic, played with Rodriguez and McBride actually in high school. Here's again Rydtrowski, Jordan Nappy with some contact. She puts it in. Lovett, another jump shot. She knocks it down. A 29-27 lead for Eastern and a half. Here's McCourt in the second half. Roll around the rim and go in, and one, count it. Here's Christina Forsman, a jumper all net. Rydtrowski a rebound. Eastern 19-4 on the offensive boards in this one. Again, Rydtrowski had a monster game, a double-double. Forsman wants it in the corner. She knocks down a three, and they find her one more time as she knocks down this one. Eastern wins the game 65-47. Eastern will host UMass Boston in the Geisler Gymnasium Saturday at 1 p.m. After waiting 2 weeks, we finally got to watch the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 49. And let's all be honest, the game was tremendous. The Seahawks looked like they had the game in their hands in the third quarter, but like always, Tom Brady and the Pats showed up in the fourth. Brady threw a touchdown to Julian Edelman to give the Patriots a 28-24 lead. Russell Wilson and the Hawks marched down the field as time was winding down thanks to another David Tyree-esque catch by Jermaine Kearse. After a run by Marshawn Lynch getting the ball to the 1-yard line, the Seattle Seahawks coaching staff made one of the most questionable calls in Super Bowl history. Come on, Coach Pete. Wilson lined up in the shotgun formation and attempted to find his receiver on a slant route, but it was picked off. Malcolm Butler and the Pats broke the curse and won their fourth Super Bowl in franchise history. Brady was awarded the Super Bowl MVP, and Julian Edelman and Malcolm Butler went to Disney. The Atlanta Hawks and the Golden State Warriors meet in the NBA Finals? Hold on a second. Doesn't that sound odd to anyone else? Well, both teams sit in first place in their conferences. The Hawks and Warriors have yet to reach double-digit losses, which up to this point in the season, that's quite a feat. You can't sleep on the San Antonio Spurs and the Cleveland Cavaliers, though. The Cavs have won 11 straight after defeating the 76ers the other night. LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love are slowly but surely becoming the big three everyone expected them to be. And the Spurs know how to do one thing come playoff time, and that's win. So let the long NBA regular season ride out, and we'll see where teams stand come playoff time. Here's some interesting news. The NHL has announced that there will be a Hockey World Cup. Interesting enough, ESPN has rumored to have the broadcasting rights. On that note, get ready to hear a lot of Barry Melrose hockey fans. I'm sure our director, Damon Gray, is extremely excited to hear the news. So, Damon, enjoy it. That's all for sports. I'm Nick Akinfora.
And that's it for this week's show. If you want to see any of our past shows, visit the ETV YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next week. Have a great night.